Hello, YouTube. This is your hindsight physical media obsessive back again with a different kind of video this time. Thought quickly we'd go over my 10 most rewatchable 4K movies. Understand that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best movies on 4K, but they're just simply rewatchable. They don't require a lot of calories mentally to take them in. You can pop them in, enjoy the sights, enjoy the sounds over and over again. I generally find myself popping these in several times a year. So let us begin. At number 10, we've got The Social Network. David Fincher with Trent Reznor scoring it, and Aaron Sorkin doing the screenplay. With those three, you really cannot lose. I love the montages that they have with the Fincher music behind it. You know, with the whole grading of the co-eds in school, and the montage of the mundane coding, which when you set it to music, actually is pretty interesting. To be honest with you, if there was more Fincher on 4K, I'd probably have it in this list. Next, The Magnificent Seven remake with Denzel Washington. Highly entertaining movie. Love the cast. I don't think there's any way you can't have any movie that calls itself The Magnificent Seven off of one of any of your go-to lists. So this was highly enjoyable. Next, actually we've got Chris Pratt, 2 movies in a row. Passengers. I had mentioned in a previous video that this was actually a French movie or so. It's actually a Norwegian director. Nevertheless, a European endeavor, I should say. But it is highly enjoyable. Good looks, good sound, good time waster. Next is Lucy, Luc Besson. Actually, this is an early 4K, which stands to this day. Highly enjoyable. High technical specs to it. You can pop this in several times a year and be thoroughly entertained each time. The Revenant. Now, this is the movie I think got everyone's attention to the 4K format. I believe this is one of the first movies in which people actually realize, hey, this is what 4K can do. And on top of that milestone, it's a great movie as well. Tom Hardy, was he right or was he wrong in what he did? To be honest with you, I get it. Mad Max, or as I like to say, Cirque du Soleil Furiosa, reminds me a lot of a Cirque du Soleil production with the bendy rods and the fireworks and the colored smoke bombs, and pretty much reminds me of a Cirque du Soleil production. This is action-packed. The specs are awesome in this. You can watch this, pop it in time and time and time again. Actually, the black and chrome edition, I like it as well, but not quite as much. Star Trek, namely the Into Darkness movie, not the first one, in which it's the movie spent most of the time of its time finding its legs, being a reboot. and not the third movie, Beyond, in which, for whatever reason, the whole trilogy seemed to have worn out its welcome by then. But Into Darkness, I do enjoy. It has its shortcomings, but I find myself popping it in time and time and time again. I particularly enjoyed Peter Weller as well. Um, but yeah, this is a remake of the Wrath of Khan to some extent. Man of Steel. Uh, this is the best DC movie, in my opinion. Um, but if Wonder Woman had straightened out its third act, um, it could very well have been DC's best. But I thoroughly enjoyed this particular movie. Zack Snyder. Um, I think what makes this a great movie is Hans Zimmer soundtrack. The music is great. I mean, just listening to it is awesome as the score plays out. Uh, Mike Shannon as Zod. I will find him. That man steals the movie, is as far as I'm concerned. And I also got a kick out of his woman lieutenant, Fiora. She was awesome as well. This thing it's a great movie, but not for the main parts in which you think it'd be great at. Next comes The Martian. Easily digestible movie. You can see time and time and time again. The thing about this list here, I mean, except for the exception of perhaps The Revenant and the movie I have at number one, I mean, they just happen to be great movies on the 4K format, which The Martian it happens to be as well. I mean, it looks fine in 4K, but as far as being a fine 4K movie that takes full advantage of what 4K has to offer, I think I've only come across that once in this list. But my number one, Godzilla vs. Kong. Lizard versus monkey. In its full 4K splendor. This is a ridiculous movie. And it's a ridiculously entertaining movie. With the Mecha Godzilla, all of it, the colors, the sound. You get about 2 or 3 rounds of fight between these two. I pop this in 2-3 times a year. So there you have it. That is my top 10 most rewatchable 4K movies. I need to finish out my big pool and one other movie I have in mind. And until then, have a nice day.